What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 8th installment of Grasping Neurology, where we're finally introducing vision. Now, this is going to take quite a few episodes to finish, but my goal is to set everything up now so that when we get to the vision protocols themselves, how to acutely improve vision and what that means for your brain and ultimately your spinal cord as well, we need to be able to reference some specific things. So, without further ado, we're going to get right into it. Now, we need to remember that there's a few things that go outside of your eyeball that matter for vision as well. The first, and maybe one of the odder portions being, we actually need a subconscious sensory feedback system having to do with where our eyeball is in the eye socket. We have musculature from the nose all the way up to the eyebrow in a semicircular fashion surrounding the eye socket itself. And lastly, we have musculature and blood flow, obviously by looking at your eyes you can see this, that go onto the eye itself. So when we have to focus into our focal vision, the eye is going to have a different slight shape than it will if you're gazing into the distance. More importantly, we're going to start to relate this to vigilance and what it means that we have our eyeballs connected to our brain, which are connected to our spinal cord. It's not individual locomotive systems. Locomotion has to do with everything in its entirety. And we can even tie in the feet and the ears to a degree, but I'm not going to get that weird today. So, we have focal and peripheral vision, and we also have an ability to gaze as well as to be really precise on something in front of us. So there's kind of 4 quadrants of vision, if you will. If there are impediments in your peripheral vision, it decreases focal vision. If there's an increase in focal vision, it actually decreases peripheral vision, only when things are unbalanced. So the analogy I'm going to use here is everyone has seen the nervous squatter, right? They unrack it, they're looking at everybody, even making eye contact with people. It's not a coincidence that these people have issues with their heels in the frontal plane and that knee knocking syndrome, which is really just an issue of dealing with inertia. They can't deal with inertia because their vestibular issues and the feedback that they're getting that should be related to focal vision to support your squat is actually peripheral. So there's this right and wrong side of things visually for a task, and we also have to view it as a safety and non-safety type thing. Because if your vigilance is high, meaning you're nervous, your amygdala's on, cortisol's being pumped, we're going to learn about all of those things specifically this chapter, you cannot properly use your focal vision because there's an increase in subconscious need to pay attention to your peripheral vision. So if you want to be really badass at something that involves focal vision, what's right in front of you, you need to have a relative feeling of safety. And that's going to start to talk about, or make us talk about, what's going on upstairs during these moments. Or rather, what do you need to be going on upstairs to be successful during these moments? There's obviously a huge dichotomy there. So what I want to end on today is vision is not just a muscular note, it's a neuromuscular note, and we could even call it a neuromuscular vestibular note, which means that it involves your brain chemistry, electricity from the spinal cord going everywhere else for sensation, as well as the actual eyeballs, eye sockets, and eye musculature themselves. It's a team decision. So, when we get to the eye protocols, it'll be an awesome litmus test for those of you who have poor balance, who have a poor ability to have attention span, and everything related to that kinesthetically, because you're going to be improving what may be the rate limiting factor in your system.